We had the Port Orange Paranormal Society spend the night in our old jail and capture this EVP, electronic voice phenomenon. Listen closely and tell me what you hear. Any guesses?
Come here.
Close. You know what it says? Is there are only 8. One more time for me. Now, when the Port Orange Paranormal Society brought this to us, we were like, okay, cool, 8 what? And then we did more research. You see, as it turns out, there were only 8 documented hangings in the St. Johns County Jail. However, hundreds of men died. The upper floor windows were exposed to the elements of mosquitoes, bedbugs, rats. Lice infected the jail and made the men sick. The cells were overcrowded, upwards of 11 men for a room built for 4. Can you imagine? The stench of overflowing toilet buckets and unwashed men. Then these men had to endure some of the worst work details in the county. Turpentine camps, swamp drainage, and road building were just some of the few. And if you survived that, a shake in the back might be your reward. Now, Henry Flagler commissioned this building to look like one of his hotels at first glance. See, the original jail was right across the street in what is now the Bank of America building from his brand new Hotel Paso de Leon. So we hired a fancy architect from up north. He became so well known for his work in our old jail that he later went on to build the old Clay County Jail in Alcatraz. It's a very secure prison with the original bars and doors in place. Now this building was built to contain hate, rage, and anger, and these feelings don't just go away when the men leave. They stain the floors, they linger on the walls, and they hang on the ceiling beams. And now, we're going inside. Now, this is a historic building, and we will be going up 1 flight of stairs. We do not have an elevator, but we do have accommodation, so if that is an issue, please do let me know. In addition, the floors are dark and uneven at times. So
We just entered the old jail.
Wow. This is the kitchen.
I should have got my EMF meter out before we went in.
Mine's right here.
Shoot.
Grab it. What? It's right in that pocket right there. Can you reach it? I don't feel it in there. It's there. Oh, right there.
I don't feel it.
In the little pocket?
I don't feel it in there.
Hey. Can I touch my stuff here for a second?
Welcome to solitary confinement. Now feel free to take photos from the doorways of my solitary confinement cells. Please do not go in my cell.
My name's Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
I don't know why you want to come in here unless someone dragged you, especially at night. But now that girl brought you in here, I think I just might get my revenge. I know, I'm only kidding. You see, every time that motor mouth Peter Pan talking history folk come in here, they miss the finest parts about this place. So tonight, on behalf of me and my boon companions, I'm gonna tell you about all 8 of our hangings, so you get to know us personally. Start with this little madman right over here. I see you all notice the big Kodiak picture on the wall? That there is Sim Jackson himself, right before he swung, right in the middle with the flowers. And that there's the sheriff, old Joseph Perry, another madman. And old Joseph Perry didn't like it when someone snapped a Kodiak picture right in the middle of his hanging. Of course, most people don't think Sims deserve flowers or the Kodiak picture after what he did to his wife. They got into an argument. It turned into a nasty fight. We don't know who struck first, but we know Sim struck last. He shut her up real quick. Took a straight razor, went hacking at her throat, got stuck in her collarbone, and he couldn't yank it out. A couple of neighbors came in, found Sims lifting his wife's body with her head hanging by a thread. What a bloody mess. His final wish at his execution was to speechify to the crowd. Must have been about 500 people there. He went on making a grand fuss. Told everybody he'd meet them all in heaven. You wouldn't believe what happened next. A couple of brain doctors came down from up north, wanted to perform an experiment during the hanging. Sounded kind of sick to me. They wanted Sims to wiggle his fingers as long as he could while he was hanging there. They dropped that door, Sim went on wiggling, them doctors getting all excited. They wanted to see how long it was before he lost his conscious mind. Well, Sim went on wiggling for 11 minutes, and it was all of 30 before he gave up living and they pronounced him officially dead. How do you think it feels hanging there for all that time, with your body slowly dying and your being fighting for your last ounce of air? Well, in case you've never been hung before, I'm going to tell you what it's like. First of all, they make you build the death trap yourself. Then once it's built, you gotta gap at them dang gallows because they're right outside your window for a month before your number comes up. On the day of your hanging, they bind your hands together real tight because they feared you're gonna run off or do something wild. They take precautions by have extra guns standing around pointing at you to make sure you're gonna drop. And if you're lucky enough, you say something grandiose to the crowd. Of course, some people just don't say nothing. And Steve Johnson, he just said to a friend, "Bring my boots to my wife, 'cause she can't afford to bury me." Them boots never got there. Steve's friend just didn't have the heart to tell him what his wife really thought of him. Nothing much. Them boots is upstairs. What are you looking at my feet for? You think I got them on? That'd be sick. You don't believe me? I'll show them to you. Come on, everybody upstairs now. Now nobody go dilly-dally down here alone, because if the hump don't get you, the rat surely will. Come on.
So somebody tried to push Marie's camera out of her hands.
Someone was pushing pressure on mine.
Oh, yeah, I don't either. But mine and Jenny's EVPs were going off, and we were in two separate parts of that. Yeah, EMFs. We were in two separate parts of that room.
I hope I don't run out of space.
Yeah, my EMF's going off. It was going off real big. It's quit now. So we're gonna go up these stairs. We've already been getting activity on our equipment.
Those seats will sit. Fill those seats up. Move all the way down. 2 steps coming down. 2 steps coming down. Move right in, move right in. 2 steps coming down. Move right in, move right in. All right, as I said, do not go in those cells on the side. You can stand at the doorway with the flash of things. All right. Coming for the head of the table. Now here they are, just like I told you. Now Steve Johnson knew he was guilty, and the state was justified in doing what they did.
It's real.
That's why his wife wanted nothing to do with him killing them people. It's why old Steve had nothing to say at the time of his hanging. Now, the 2 fellas that hung with him, oh, they sure had a lot to say. Their names were Eugene Baxter and Tom White. It was a triple hanging on May 31st, 1912, the last time St. Augustine ever saw a hanging. I guess when 3 bodies dropped all together at once, the town kind of lost their stomachs for hangings. Those men brutally attacked a local Jacksonville store owner named Isaac Silverstein and his family. Those murderers left their bruised and battered bodies for dead and then requested to be hung here in St. Augustine with old Steve on account they knew their sentence would be carried out quicker. You see, these men knew what jail time was like in these parts, and they deserved what they got, even though Tom was whining. Oh, if I hadn't been friends with Eugene, this whole thing never ever would have happened. Now I'm going to tell you about a man you'll be glad you never meet in the middle of the night. His name was George Hawkins. Hawkins was a man who liked to live in the shadows, jumping in and out of the light. He had a dark mind and found a perfect grave in the city of
It's really cold right here.
Girl, I was getting all kinds of stuff on my email.
And the cold spot, the cold, it went away. Yeah. Just went away.
Ducking behind trees, waiting for the moment to strike. He jumped up on his wagon and he cut that peddler from neck to navel. He wasn't done yet. He reached inside and pulled the man's insides out. Then he used the man's own wagon to cart those remains out into the middle of the woods. He thought he'd get away with it, he did. But he didn't take into account the horse getting hungry, walking back into town with a blood-soaked wagon. And that wagon left a gruesome trail back to where the peddler was
see my
killed and
EMF?
good.
Look here.
Oh, what a cruel way to die, even for a peddler. But every man isn't always guilty. Sheriff Perry, I didn't kill Michael, you got the wrong guy. Sheriff Perry, I know that man a long time. He wouldn't do something like that. Sheriff Perry, you gotta let my husband go.
Crazy over here.
He's the father to our boy.
He's doing this
There was a man
reenactment stirring
who
stuff
didn't
up.
deserve what he got. His name was Robert Lee. Robert Lee was an innocent man. His friend, James Kirby, killed a man who had a bunch of money who was getting ready to pay his workers. And Kirby told the authorities, old Joseph Perry, that his friend, Robert Lee, helped him kill the man on account he was a coward and he didn't want to die alone. How's that for friends, huh? He changed his mind about a month before the rope started swinging. Told Joseph Perry he made the whole thing up. Sheriff Perry, you gotta let my friend Robert go. He's innocent. He didn't do nothing. I lied on him. It was too late to help his buddy. Sheriff Perry said, people are expecting a double hanging, and I can't change it now on account of a murderer's conscience. He was a madman! All right now, let's see who was listening. How many hangings did I tell you about so far? Shout it out, you got an answer. 8. I haven't heard it yet. 1 less than 8 is how many?
7.
Well, look at that. You can subtract. I can't be around these bars for too long. I gotta get out of here. And you best better come with me. I don't got much time, and something tells me you don't either. I got one last story to tell you, and I know just the place. Come on, everybody! Outside these doors! There's a gallows in the cone! All right, go down the stairs, go right up to that curb in front of the gallows. Down the stairs, go right up to that curb in front of the gallows. Now be careful on these stairs. Don't fall and bust something and make a mess. Because I don't want to have to clean it up.
Yeah, don't get pushed by spirits like some people.
Oh shit.
For real.
Down the stairs. Down the stairs.
Wow. Look at that, guys.
Coming out there. That's
Holy cow.
there they is. Them gallows. Look at the shadows that cast at night. I gotta tell you, these gallows don't look any friendlier during the day. That's for sure. That's for sure. All right, this is the last story. You're gonna want to hear this one. So come on, move right up, move right up. Move right up. As you're coming down the stairs, falling behind. Now these gallows were just used yesterday. I ought to know they was for me. But I ain't like those other men I told you about, no siree. I killed a man, but it was justifiable defense. He was saying unsavory things about my wife, and I love my wife. A man like that, someone ought to shut him up. Oh, you should have been there. The look on his face after everything he said. A man like that just doesn't deserve to live, so I shot him. Right where he stood. Bang! The day of my hanging came soon enough. I wasn't feeling well, and if you read the rules, it states they gotta postpone a hanging if a man ain't in good health. You wouldn't be feeling too good on the day of your hanging either. Finally, I just plumb passed out. They had to drag me, unconscious, out to the gallows. Sheriff Perry just wanted to get the whole thing over and done with. He said the crowd is expecting a hanging, and I aim to give him one. But he didn't take into account they couldn't even stand me up. But that old dog Perry got aboard. He latched me onto it. I was noose high. They pulled that lever and down I came. But the board was a last-minute decision, and a bad one at that. The wind of that board snapped that rope. I went sprawling awake in a crowd, right where you're standing. Everybody was running around. Sheriff Perry was saying, "Give me a rope, give me a rope." I moaned. My neck was broken in two. I knew by the time they got another noose, I'd be dead. Finally, my time here has come to an end. What's that? Sheriff Perry, no! You're not hanging me again! Not again! Not every night!
Get out of here! Go! Go! Oh my goodness, is everybody okay? I'm so sorry. I went to go check on Miss Addison and then I got locked out. Our trolley is here though, so please watch your head and step and follow us.
Was that fun? Yeah.
Okay guys, we got done with our ghostly tour. It was a lot of fun. Highly suggest you go to Ghosts and Gravestones. I believe I said that right. And you can come here to the Welcome Center in St Augustine. That's where they sell the tickets. And I will see you next time. Bye guys. Bye.